One of the things having gone through the sale of our business, and what I found was if we had somebody who was there just to help support us, yes, we had advisors, but somebody who actually knew sort of the inside track to be able to just give us that helping hand. I think that would have made things a little bit easier for us.
Yeah, I think we both felt it, mate, didn't we, really? Where the gap between the corporate advisor and us making the decision, do you know what, yeah, we want to sell. I think if we'd have had somebody that could have held our hand in the previous business to get us to that stage sooner, probably made the transaction a little bit cleaner, do you think, from our point of view?
I think so.
I felt when we were going through due diligence that there was stuff that they was asking that you're going like, well, why would we concentrate on that? Because it's not client focused, it's not, it's just sort of business territory in it that you go, it doesn't affect us day to day now, but actually by the time we came to sell was like, yeah, you need to pick up on that. And I think we probably spent 3 to 6 months during due diligence picking that up. And I just think if somebody could have given us that tip and a wink before we went to market, we could have had some time doing it.
I think it's very important that, again, we thought our business was clean in terms of how it was run, how it was set up. But until you actually go through due diligence and you've got all these advisors pouring over absolutely everything, and just all these little issues that, we were so busy running the business that you didn't really actually realize were issues. But from a technical point of view, they obviously were and had to be resolved.
And it's that compliance bit and all, isn't it? I mean, how many evening conversations did we have that you go, I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
We're a successful business, we're doing well, we're picking new clients up, staff are engaged, we're doing really good. Why do I need to worry about whether we've got a contract for us as shareholders, for us PAYE? Just things that you take for granted.
You do, because we're also so busy, running the business, building the business. We had a large staff base. You're just dealing with those on a day-to-day. You don't realise that there are these things that sometimes just go by the wayside. And until you actually get to the point of saying, well, should we sell? And at that point, things get crystallised. You think, well, okay, we need to tidy up our house a little bit. Not that our house was messy by any stretch.
But it's interesting, isn't it? It's not until you crystallise the decision of we want to go through with this that you then start looking internally a little bit more and going, right, what should we do? Because the reality is we were a start-up business as well. So we did what we felt was right at them times. But over a 15-year period, we grew to a substantial business that had 120 people.
Yeah.
Things got left behind, and there were probably things that we would have classified as minutiae, but a lot of little things created a big thing during due diligence that you were scurrying across with the legal advisors. And
I just think a lot of it is, well, you don't know, and I think for us, as building the business, there were things that we thought we were doing right. I'm not saying that we were right or wrong, but there were probably better ways, but we didn't know. We did our best. And obviously we got to that point of successfully selling the business. But just coming back to another point you mentioned earlier about how busy it was during due diligence, I think none of us actually appreciated that you've still got the business to run.
Yeah.
And at the same time, you're doing due diligence. And the amount of time, and you're almost running two lives because you got the business going and you're working with your clients, your staff, and your business partners. But then at the same time, you're doing the due diligence. And you're almost doing two jobs at once. And I don't think any of us appreciated the amount of stress and pressure that puts on, because you can't let the business dip. The business has got to keep operating, but you've got to get over the line with the due diligence.
And I think that's where Tidal Blue were effectively born, Col, is fair to say, isn't it? Because we'd gone through, we'd lived, eaten, breathed that process, and then we sat there and we're going, there is a gap here because we're owners, we want to sell, we got the people in that knew the markets, knew who they were going to go out to because we went through a private sale and to trade. But actually, I'd have loved somebody to come in 6 months before we were actually ready to go, right, let's have a look. These are the questions that they're going to ask you in due diligence. Where are you on all this? This is a standard data pack, what you're going to have to put into the data rooms to answer. Without that, it were daunting. I think that's the word I'd use. When we got to due diligence, I know we laughed and joked. When you went on that first Teams call and we thought, oh, we'll be fine, there'll be about 5 faces on it, and it were like, boo, 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 and there were about 30 people on it.
Yeah.
They were armed and we weren't. Do you think that's fair to say?
Yeah, I think it's fair. And that's why I come back to, you've got, yes, you've got different advisors. You've got your tax advisor, your legal advisor, you've got your business advisor for the sale. But in between those, there isn't that one person saying, maybe do this, do that. And I think for us, we could have probably saved ourselves time.
Yeah.
If we had somebody saying, look, you've got these decisions you're going to have to make, do that one or do that one. I think we went down a few rabbit holes that maybe we shouldn't have gone down. But again, that's part of the learning curve. But I think ultimately, one of the things with Tidal Blue, which I would like to see, is we achieved that success. Not many people can say that they've sold their business, and there are people out there that obviously have done that, but to be able to help others get to that point where they can taste that sweet success of saying, I've reached that pinnacle, I've sold my business, and to help them and be, as I said, that helping hand, that helping friend to get to that point, what a nice thing to be able to do.